Humans. Oh yeah, I am the herald of the gods. Yeah. Look at it. Look at it. Look at me. And welcome back to the Culture Gods channel with your boy, Mike Nix. Hey, the Marvel Look Ahead just popped up. It's online, it's on YouTube right now. You can go check it out. Basically giving you a quick rundown, a flash forward of what's to come in the Marvel universe, in the MCU. And so far, from what I've seen, I'm kind of excited. And then I'm kind of just curious, you know what I'm saying? First up, we got Daredevil Born Again. That comes out in 2025. First and foremost, I will say this, Daredevil, before there was any, I don't even think there was any shows on streaming at all on television. Well, I'm sorry, I take that back. Yes, there was. There was the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There was that show, and I want to say there was something else. And then the CW shows. Long before the Daredevil first, before Daredevil first came to Netflix, those are the only shows that were like superhero related shows that you could watch on TV. Then I keep saying the Daredevil. Then Daredevil came, and man, Daredevil was, to me, it was everything that I wanted in a superhero comic book television show. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, I've said this before, but I love the idea that all of the characters and comic book characters that I grew up with and superheroes I grew up with, they're being made in a vision almost like the people that created it kind of grew up with us. And now that they're grown, it's like they were kids watching this shit. Now they're grown like us, or those of us that are grown, and they're writing these scripts and creating these characters in a more mature kind of tone, you know what I'm saying? And Daredevil was the first show that actually played on that, you know what I'm saying? And I loved it. That was hands down season 1, and I would probably say season 2 were the best seasons of all the Marvel shows that have ever come out. Daredevil is the best one, hands down. I would give a close second, maybe to Luke Cage. Luke Cage might get it second, but Daredevil was so good. The action sequences were so good. It was so grounded. I love that Marvel's bringing a more grounded portion of their universe to the MCU, because remember at that point, all we had was the big budget, big screen, blow them up, big colorful explosion type of movies with the Avengers and all them coming together, and they were blowing it out the water in the box office. But as far as like, I always knew that there was a more grounded version of Marvel heroes that they never touched on, and they did that with Marvel, with Daredevil, with Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones. It was so good. Iron Fist, not so much. Iron Fist was straight trash, garbage. Get that shit up out of here, you know. But Daredevil Born Again looks like Fisk is back, probably as the main villain, I'm hoping. And Daredevil has popped up here and there, like on She-Hulk. He was on that show for a little bit, even though his cameo appearance wasn't the best for real. But I get it. Two attorneys, of course, they're gonna meet, and they're both in the MCU. They're gonna cross paths at some point. But anyway, we're going back to the roots. It looks like we're going back to basics with Daredevil. I love that. So I'm super excited about that one. The gods are very much excited about Daredevil. Let me tell you right now, the gods are excited. Then Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, that comes out 2025 as well. It's a more animated, looks like show. I didn't dive too much into it, but it looks like it's gonna be a series. If so, it looks really good. It's got kind of like that comic book art style animation to it. I'm a big fan of any different takes on animation, you know what I'm saying? And it looks like it's gonna be very stylistic, and I like that. It looks like a very early teenage, younger version of Peter Parker, so that's gonna be really dope. I'm excited about that. Ironheart, that's coming out in 2025 with my girl Dominique Thorne, who she definitely was in Wakanda Forever, because I remember her from that. But she was in a whole She was in a whole lot of other movies too, man. She was in Judas and the Black Messiah. She was in, of course, she was in Black Panther, and a couple of other like kind of black films before that. If Beale Street Could Talk. I didn't even know she was in that movie, but I didn't see that whole movie. So forgive me, y'all, if you've seen it. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see her in Ironheart. Ironheart was kind of unexpected to me, to be honest with you. I didn't think that that Ironheart was going to be the next up in the Iron Man franchise or the Iron Man kind of world, you know what I'm saying, coming next. I thought War Machine was going to be next, low key, but I mean, hey, I'll take an Ironheart series for sure. And then What If season 3. So What If was a sleeper. I feel like what the first season of What If came out during COVID, and I remember watching it, and I remember thinking to myself, why is no one talking about this show? What If was so dope. The concept is, it's a series, it's a show, and on Disney Plus, and each episode takes a different character or characters, and it plays on what if they weren't exactly how they are as we know them. You know, what if I think there was a Captain America was a woman, and actually they've played on that in the comics before. But just kind of all these different ways, like, you know, what if Thanos didn't have the glove? What if the glove was given to Vision or somebody else, you know, or Ultron? You know, so many different different perspectives, and they tell the story that way, and it's really, really dope. I love season 1. Season 2 wasn't as good as season 1, which most shows are like that, but I'm really looking forward to season 3, and I wonder how the What If series will play into the overall MCU. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's connected. It seems like it is, but I'm excited about that. Wonder Man. Now, Wonder Man is a lesser known. Remember when I talked about in a couple of videos back about like growing up with D-list characters, you know, heroes that they weren't the Avengers, they weren't Justice League. Now, you had to be a super in-depth comic book nerd like me and most of the boys that I grew up with. Like we say nerd and we use that term loosely, and geek and shit. But geek shit actually is dope shit, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? All this movie, gaming, comics, now it's a popular mainstream term, and there's a whole lot of geek shit going on this channel for sure. But growing up, being a geek or being a nerd was not cool. But comic book lovers, which was most boys that I knew, we were trading comic books and shit like that. If you really read any mainstream comics, some of these characters popped up sometimes. Blade, I didn't read a Blade comic, but I knew of Blade from Spider-Man. The Avengers, I didn't know all the Avengers. I didn't know about Hawkeye. I didn't read Hawkeye comics growing up. I didn't even read Iron Man comics, but I knew of the Avengers because I read The Incredible Hulk, and I read a lot of the other the X-Men comics and shit like that, and they kind of cross paths, you know. Wonder Man is not somebody I ever got into for real. He's part of the West Coast Avengers, and with him being in part of the MCU now tells me that the next phase is going to have another West Coast Avengers, or they might be trying to put that together. I wish they would have put together that little squad with Daredevil and Luke Cage and them, you know what I'm saying? But Iron Fist was trash. Like, I just get him out of here, man. But Wonder Man's gonna be played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen. He played Black Manta in Aquaman. Another side note, so it looks like, and it sounds like, because DC had what we're gonna call the fuck up, that first early phase with Zack Snyder and all that coming off of Batman and Christian Bale, and DC didn't know what the fuck direction they wanted to go in, and they got these one-off movies and Joker and Harley Quinn, and all these movies are bombing at the box office, and then they did Batman versus Superman and threw like 3 major storylines in one movie just to try to catch up to Marvel, which is what it seemed like they was doing. So they fucked it all up. We just call it the fuck up. Right? Anything before James Gunn is called the fuck up with DC. But those some of those actors I heard, like Henry Cavill, have been in talks with Marvel to come on over to the Marvel side. You know, now I do think that James Gunn can reignite the DC universe. I've got a take on The Rock that I want to talk about in two. It's going to take 2 separate videos to do this, because I've seen some shit going around online that the gods are not pleased about when it comes to the Great One. And with me being the chosen one, I feel like it's my duty to speak and have my voice heard across the masses about what I think about The Rock and that phase of the fuck up of DC and how he's not at fault about that, but also The Rock, the wrestler. Okay, so it's two different videos. Another video, another time. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, yeah, but it's dope. Wonder Man, I have no idea what the fuck he's about. All I do know is his abilities and his powers. I'm curious to see how that plays out in the MCU. I know he shape shifts. He's super strong, shit like that. I would have loved to see Blue Marvel in the MCU over Wonder Man, but we'll see how it goes, all right? But it's good to see Yaya getting some shine, though. I will say that. It's good to see my brother out here, you know, snatching up major roles with major studios, getting the bag and putting himself back on screen, man. I love to see it. And then Eyes of Wakanda, which comes out in 2025 too. I'm not too sure about what that's about. I guess we'll get more details as the year rolls along. I do know that I think Deadpool and Wolverine will be releasing on Disney Plus soon this year. And then I think, and What If Season 3 will be on Disney Plus this year. Everything else I just named will be out next year. So I'm looking forward to everything that Marvel has to offer. Again, I'm not a Marvel or DC guy. I grew up with both of those brands, both of those comics in my room, stacks and stacks inside the little sleeve with the little cardboard backing, make sure everything stays straight and all that. So, you know, I'm a big, huge fan of all this shit. I'm passionate about it. If you ever hear me, you know, spit a little venom about, you know what I'm saying, you know, some of these shows or characters that just don't seem to be what I like or whatever. It's not me hating or nothing like that. I love both brands equally. But I'm just excited to see what they got. And if you're as excited as me, you know what to do. You'll pull up in the next video. And you won't do it for me. You'll do it for the God.